Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I want to introduce you to a garden technique that I've been using for the past year, and it has saved me a ton of time in the garden while still producing amazing results. I'm a huge advocate of maximizing the productivity in the garden while minimizing the tedious tasks such as weeding, tilling that can break our back. Instead, my opinion is that we should focus on the time we spend in the garden and prioritize on tasks which are fulfilling and rewarding. If you're also looking for ways to increase the productivity and efficiency in the garden, then keep watching. I'll introduce you to the NoDig Gardening method and my experience with it till now. When I first moved to this apartment and got this tiny plot of land to garden, I was excited but overwhelmed, thinking where to start. My previous gardening experience was limited to container gardening on a 6-meter square balcony with limited sunlight. So I did some research and stumbled upon NoDig Gardening, and it sounded promising. This technique involves disturbing the soil as little as possible and preserving the life in it. That means no tilling, no weeding. And the results have been amazing till now. So let's dive into how I created my NoDig garden. The method is very simple to execute and takes less than an hour to set up. To get started, all you need are some cardboard, bed frames of your liking, and compost. The first step for me was to build the raised bed frames. I got mine from the local garden center, and this was the most cheapest and convenient option at that point of time. The raised beds were lined with plastic sheets in order to protect the wood from the moisture. Once the bed frames were built, I laid cardboard sheets inside the garden beds in order to cover the base. This prevents the weeds from growing and eliminates the need to till the soil. Next step was to fill the raised beds with compost. I sourced mine from the local waste management facility. It is cheaper to source them this way rather than buying from the garden centers. Now they are ready to be planted. We can sow seeds or plant saplings directly in the compost. In addition, I decided to enhance the drainage of the soil by mixing it with coco peat and vermiculite. This step is entirely optional, but I found it beneficial for my gardening needs. If you're interested to learn more about how I mix soil for vegetable gardening, I recommend checking out the video linked here. The space between the beds were also covered with cardboards, and I laid wood chips on top of it because it is good for the garden and also aesthetically pleasing. Next, let me explain to you the principle of NoDig gardening. If we were to build this garden using the traditional gardening methods, then we would have to till the soil, turn it over to remove weeds and loosen it up. However, in NoDig gardening method, instead of tilling, we lay down the cardboards to prevent the weeds from growing from underneath. The main principle behind NoDig gardening method is light exclusion. That means the cardboard acts as a weed barrier by blocking sunlight from reaching the weeds and the grass underneath. This weakens them and eventually prevents them from growing. By using this method, we can avoid disturbing the soil structure entirely. This is crucial because soil is a whole universe by itself, with a multitude of organisms living in it. These tiny organisms play an important role in helping the plants absorb nutrients they need from the soil. This ultimately creates a healthier environment for the plants to grow. Now that we have discussed the how and why of NoDig gardening method, let me now summarize the benefits of this method. Some of its benefits are it reduces or completely eliminates the weeds, saving our time and energy in removing it. Second is it gives us complete control over the soil mix that is used for growing crops, and this often leads to a cleaner harvest. And most importantly, it doesn't disturb the soil and its ecosystems. After gardening in these NoDig garden beds for a year now, one thing I would change if I were to do it all over again is to lay the cardboards first and then set the garden beds over it. This is because I can see some weeds and grass growing from the borders where the ground was not covered with cardboard. So this could be something you can consider if you're starting out. While this method may be a little bit more expensive than the traditional garden method because we have to source all the compost and soil mix by ourselves, according to me, it is worth the investment in terms of the time and effort that we save. And it was so much easy to get started for a beginner gardener like me. If we are a little careful about where we source the compost or the soil from, then this method doesn't become that expensive. If you take a look at my beds now, you will notice that there are very few to no weeds growing in them. And honestly, I didn't have to remove the weeds at all. When I compare this to another piece of land that was set up traditionally by tilling the soil, I had to weed it a lot more often, almost every week. The NoDig Garden method, however, gave me no such issues. If you're new to gardening and don't know where to start, like I was 1 year before, then give this NoDig technique a try because I can only recommend it. And it helps you get started with gardening so quickly. If you want to watch the whole journey of my NoDig garden from seed to harvest, then check out the video linked here and in the description box, and I hope you enjoy watching it. Let me know what your thoughts on this method are. I would love to learn from you as well. I'll see you in the next video where I'll share with you another cool gardening technique that has helped me further. Stay tuned for that. For now, bye and take care.